have a couple more things to do to my playfield here before I touch up. First, I cleaned the underside of the inserts real quick with a Q-tip and some Windex. Just to clean them up, and then I blew it out with the air just to get them nice and clean, and they are real clean. And then on the bottom side here, I used some of my Totally Awesome that I get at the dollar store on a microfiber cloth, and I just cleaned off the back of this playfield. It had a lot of gunk on it, and you can see it's nice, and it's got that nice gray finish to it now, so we did that. Now the only other thing left to do is I'm going to remove the really worn inserts here, the ones that I'm going to put insert decals on. I'm going to remove these inserts, the inserts that I'm going to be doing the insert decals on, which is basically the bonus area on this playfield. Some of these other ones that aren't totally worn off, I'm just going to touch them up a little bit, but these ones are pretty much completely worn off. I need to use the insert decals. It's going to be easier to prep these inserts out of the playfield, and it'll also allow me to do a lot of this touch-up without worrying about getting paint on the insert. So we're going to pop out, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 green ones and 5 of these red ones. The rest of them I'm going to leave in. I just have a couple that I got to level a little better. But to pop these out, I just use my heat gun, and I use it, there's 2 temperature settings usually on these heat guns, a low and a high. I use the low. So I put my finger on the outside of the insert. That way I can feel the heat. Once I feel a little bit of warmth, it's time to pop it out. You don't want to go too hot, otherwise you can burn the insert. So I'm just running this kind of in a circular motion so I don't pinpoint the heat in one spot. And once I feel the warmth through the plastic of the insert, it's ready to come out. And what I use is a socket that's the same size as the insert with a little extension, and then I have my little rubber mallet. You don't want to use a big hammer because then you'll be tempted to use too much force. So I just use this little rubber mallet. That way I can't cause too much force. If you try to force the insert out, 2 bad things can happen. One, you can break the insert. That's bad if it's an insert that there isn't a replacement for. If there's a replacement for that insert, then you're okay. But worst case, worse than that, would be if it's not ready yet, the glue's still binded to it, and you force it out, you're going to splinter the wood around the insert on the silkscreen side of the playfield. And then that's bad because you'll have more touch-up to do. You might have to do a little spot putty to fix the area. So you want to go slow and carefully with this. And as I'm knocking it out, I just kind of check to see if it's coming out all right. And sometimes it'll come out on one side and not the other. Usually that's because the glue is still holding. So I'll give it a little more heat. I'm also constantly checking it as I'm popping it out. Constantly checking to make sure that the wood isn't splintering around the insert. So far these are coming out pretty easy. You know, I've done a lot worse. But I really try not to do this unless I really have to. So I'm just going to finish up getting these inserts out. And then when I come back, we'll level a couple inserts and do the final prep ready for touch-up. So I got all the inserts out that I want to take out. These are the only ones that I'm going to mess with taking out. Now I have a couple that I need to level. So on the ones that I need to level, I get a Sharpie. And I'm just going to make a mark next to the insert that I'm about to level. The reason I do that is so that I remember to glue it. If I don't Sharpie it, I might forget to re-glue it. after I level it. And then if you clear coat it and you forget to level to glue the insert that you leveled, that could cause a problem where the insert moves and it'll crack the clear coat. So that's why I make that little mark there. So a couple things I need is one is my heat gun. I'm going to use it on the low setting. Next would be either a small piece of wood or maybe a piece of acrylic block or something. I just use this little square of wood. I'm going to put this on top of the insert and I'm going to smack it with my little tiny rubber mallet here so I can't use too much force. So here we go. Got my finger on the other side, feeling for heat. And then we're going to lay it on a flat surface. Put my rubber block on top of the insert. Give it a couple smacks. And that's all it's to it. And then afterwards, what I use to glue these in is I just use the Superglue in the gel form. I find that works perfectly fine and it's really easy to apply. It's thick enough that it doesn't make a big mess, and it's thick enough that it's really going to hold that insert in. So the gel Superglue is what I use to glue these in. Most of the times I will go around and I'll just stick a little bit of glue on all these just in case any of them are loose from the wood contracting and expanding due to temperature change. So I'm going to finish leveling some of these, and when I come back I'll show you the final prep that I do to the playfield before I do my touch-ups. My inserts as level as I can get them, and I glued them in already. So the only thing left is to do a couple more things to prepare for doing the touch-ups. This step's not 100% necessary for a non-diamond plate playfield, but I'm going to take a little piece of 600 grit wet dry sandpaper and I'm just going to go over the playfield dry. This does a couple things. One, it leaves little scratches in the playfield and gives more surface area for the clear coat to attach to. This playfield is pretty rough anyway, so there's plenty of areas for the clear coat to attach on this playfield, but I figure better safe than sorry. The other reason I do this is it'll dull the playfield down a little bit, take a little bit of the shine off, which helps with the touch-ups because the acrylic touch-up paints that we're going to use to touch this playfield up, when they dry they kind of have a matte finish. So they'll blend in better with the matte finish that the sanding is going to leave on the playfield. And it just helps me with the color match a little better. Obviously, once you clear the playfield, it's going to be perfectly shiny and all the matte and gloss finishes are going to be an even sheen. I just figure this step just helps me a little. I'm also going to get down in the shooter lane. And after that, I'm going to give it a good wipe down with naphtha. And I'm just going to give the playfield a good wipe down with this. This just gets all the gunk off from all the insert work that we did. So I'll clean this a couple more times with naphtha and then wipe it down again with a dry paper towel. And then I'll move over to my table that I do my touch-ups on. And we'll get going on the touch-ups.